The next step is risk-taking. The next slide talks about risk-taking. Are your educational environments really open to risk-taking? Are you encouraged to take risk? Are you as people, as individuals, daring to take risks, or you prefer to go the traditional, well-known way, the way things have been done all these years? What's your view on that? This illustration shows two different ways of leadership. The one on the right with the green circles is the leader who encourages risk-taking with words and actions. And the one on the left is the one that inhibits risk-taking. So you see, if he inhibits risk-taking, there is nowhere else to go. If people fail, they are inhibiting them from trying again. But in the green circle, the leader who encourages risk-taking should think about how they can help teachers feel comfortable taking these risks. When they do take risks, how does the leader support them? Are his words encouraging to the teachers, to the members of the group? And if they fail, how does the leader react? Does he inhibit risk-taking again, or does he encourage them to learn from their failure and try again? What do you think about failure and about risk-taking? Adriana says change is very necessary, definitely. What do you think of failure? Is it a good or a bad thing? How do you perceive failure? I'm sure most students perceive failure as something bad. They all want to succeed in the exams, the language exams, take very good grades, score high. This is how society has been treating us since we were at school, that we should always be successful. But is life full of success only? No, failure is also there. Failure is part of our lives, and it's good because we learn from it. Failure is a chance to develop. It is part of the way, as you say. And it is also a chance to learn, a learning experience, the hard way, of course. Some things we learn the hard way through trial and error. Some things we haven't done before. There is no set rules, even for the things that we have set rules. Let me give you a simple example from life, everyday life. Remember when you were children, your mom, your dad would tell you, don't climb that, I don't know, that wall, because you will fall and you will hurt your knee. Did you always listen? Well, to speak for myself, I always wanted to try for myself and see if I fell and hurt my knee, I was convinced that they were right. Just by their experience, I wasn't convinced. So through all these failures that I had in my life, I learned to try harder. I learned to take care of myself, to be cautious. So it is a learning process. Failure is a learning process. And once we fail, we should praise the person, the student, the colleague, the peer for his efforts, and try to figure out with him or her what went wrong, what was a mistake, how could we have done things differently to come to a different result, to a successful result, right? A teacher says the point is that we need to change that negative chip that has been implanted, that our students were taught. They need to be re-taught that failure is part of our daily life. And it's okay not to always win. And I remember my daughter, I'm in my daughter's room right now, and she has this quotation on the wall. She writes different things on the wall. She says, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So there is no failure to her eyes. Failure is a chance to learn, is a path of development. As long as you take the lesson, making the same mistakes again and again shows that you haven't taken the lesson. Okay? It's a great experience to fail. You realize you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I know everybody wants to win, but life doesn't come that way. And the first time you tried to cook your favorite dish and you failed, you burnt it, you put too much salt or too much oil or whatever, and it wasn't the perfect result, you realized what the mistake was, right? So everyone's life is full of failure. Now, let me go to the next slide that talks about failure. Leaders see every failure as a step to success. For them, failure is an opportunity to learn. And the Harvard Business Review, I told you I used all the management journals for this course because this is the field that has been studied a lot. Failure is required for learning, but our relentless pursuit of results can also discourage employees from taking chances. Some of you mentioned that your environment doesn't encourage you to take risks. To resolve this conflict, leaders must create a culture that supports risk taking.